All right, let's dive into a hidden kingdom. I'm talking about a world that's absolutely teeming with life, right under our noses, but totally invisible without a little help.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever really wondered what's living in a single drop of water, like from a pond or a puddle? To us, it just looks like, well, water. But if you put it under a microscope, wow, it's a whole bustling city.
And that's exactly where we're going today. We're going to zoom way in and explore that universe in a drop. And the stars of this show, they're these incredible creatures you've probably never even seen, the Protozoa.
Now here's the thing you gotta get about them. They're just a single cell, right? But these guys are movers, they're hunters, they're recyclers, the whole deal. They might be tiny, but their impact on our world, it's huge, absolutely massive.
Okay, so let's break it down. What exactly is a protozoan? What makes it different from all the other microscopic stuff swimming around out there?
Well, the big word here is eukaryote. It sounds kind of technical, but all it really means is that their one little cell is super sophisticated. It's got a command center, that's the nucleus, and all these other specialized parts called organelles, which are basically like its own tiny organs.
So to really get a feel for how complex this is, think about bacteria. We've all heard of bacteria, right? Well, a protozoan is like its super high-tech advanced cousin. A bacterium cell is pretty simple, kind of basic. But a protozoan cell, it's like a finely tuned piece of microscopic machinery.
All right, so they're complex. We got that. But what do they actually do all day in that tiny drop of water? Well, they're not just hanging out. They are constantly on the move, always hunting for their next meal.
And I mean, they don't just drift. No way. These guys are active navigators. They've developed some seriously brilliant tools to zip around, find food, and get away from anything that wants to eat them. It's like a little action movie happening down there.
So check out their toolkit for moving around. It's awesome. Some of them use these things called pseudopodia. They're basically these flowing, shape-shifting arms they starch out to crawl and grab stuff. Then you've got others covered in cilia, which are hundreds of tiny hairs all beating together, just like the oars on a rowing team's boat. And then there's the flagella, this powerful whip-like tail that just spins like a motorboat propeller. How cool is that?
And pretty much all this moving around has one goal: finding lunch. See, unlike a plant, they can't just make their own food from sunlight. They're what we call heterotrophs, which is just a fancy way of saying they're hunters. They're always on the prowl for bacteria, algae, and any other tasty bits they can find.
And the way they eat is just as wild as the way they move. A lot of them use this process called phagocytosis. Just try to imagine this. Instead of taking a bite of your food, you just kind of surround your entire plate with your body and absorb it. That's basically what they do. Their cell wall just wraps right around a piece of food and swallows it whole. Amazing.
Okay, so now that we know how they live and eat, let's meet some of the celebrities of the protozoa world. Each one of these has its own special thing, its own role to play.
First up, you've probably heard of this one, the amoeba. This is the ultimate shapeshifter. It uses those false feet, the pseudopodia we talked about, to just kind of ooze around and swallow its prey whole. It's a really important predator, helping keep bacteria populations in check. Think of it like a tiny, determined blob on a mission. Next up, meet the paramecium. If the amoeba is a blob, this one is the Olympic swimmer. It's covered in thousands of those little hairs, the cilia, all beating in perfect rhythm, like a wave. This incredible coordination lets it move super fast and efficiently, sweeping up bacteria and algae. It's a really vital part of the food web.
And then you have the euglena. And this one has a huge plot twist. So it zips around with that whip-like tail, the flagellum, just like you'd expect. But, and get this, if it can't find any food, it's no big deal. It can just use sunlight to make its own energy, just like a plant. It's a hybrid. This makes it unbelievably important and flexible in its environment.
Okay, this is all super cool, but you might be thinking, why does this matter to me? Well, let's zoom back out from that single drop of water and see how these tiny little neighbors actually affect our big world. And it's complicated. On one hand, protozoa are absolutely essential for a healthy planet. But on the other hand, some of them can be really, really bad news for us.
Let's talk about the good stuff first. These guys are way more than just tiny janitors. By eating bacteria, they unlock nutrients that fuel the entire aquatic food web. In our oceans, they play a huge role in pulling carbon out of the atmosphere. I mean, they are literally the foundation for so much of life in the water.
But then, there's the dark side. A few types of protozoa are parasites, and they can cause some really serious diseases. You've heard of malaria, right?
That's caused by a protozoan called Plasmodium. And another one, Giardia, can make you incredibly sick if it gets into your drinking water.
And right there, that's the crucial point for our day-to-day lives. Knowing that these powerful little creatures exist, both the good and the bad, is exactly why things like clean water and good hygiene are so important. They're not just good ideas, they are literally lifesavers.
So if you remember one thing, make it this. Protozoa are tiny, they are super complex, and they are absolutely everywhere. They're shaping our world in ways we're only just starting to figure out.
It really makes you wonder, right? I mean, if all of that complexity, that whole universe, is hiding in a single drop of water, what other invisible worlds are all around us, just waiting for us to discover them?